Hello, I'm Sting and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly cheat sheet to all that's happening on the Great White Way, or as we like to think of it, the only place where you can buy tickets from Tony Danza. Don't believe me? Call 1-800-BROADWAY. Let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Ryan?
The rumors are confirmed. Mr. Shoe is coming back to Broadway. Glee star Matthew Morrison will make his return to the Great White Way after a 5-year absence, starring as J.M. Barrie in the new musical Finding Neverland. Morrison last appeared on Broadway in the 2008 revival of South Pacific before he became known as Glee's Will Schuester. Morrison played Barrie when the show was workshopped, but Jeremy Jordan took it on for its run at the American Repertory Theater this past summer. The show, directed by Diane Paulus, will begin previews on March 15, 2015.
Speaking of new leading men, this week brought confirmation of several upcoming must-see male star turns. As previously reported, Martin Short will indeed succeed Nathan Lane in It's Only a Play, when the show moves literally next door from the Schoenfeld Theater to the Jacobs on January 7th. Five-time Tony nominee Danny Burstein will indeed headline next season's Fiddler on the Roof revival, and Tony winner Michael Cerveris will indeed be living in the Fun Home on Broadway in the spring, reprising his acclaimed off-Broadway turn as a troubled dad. Congrats, guys!
Get ready for more live tweeting, TV fans. NBC is planning a live telecast of Aaron Sorkin's A Few Good Men. The 1989 play became the Oscar-nominated movie with at least one line that everyone can quote. The live TV event doesn't yet have a director, cast, or date, but no matter who says it or when it happens, we expect to yell, "You can't handle the truth!" loudly in our living rooms while glued to Twitter. That's the point, right?
What do you get when you combine big ballads and even bigger shoulder pads? The musical adaptation of the 1996 movie The First Wives Club, starring Tony winner Faith Prince, Christine Sherrill, and Carmen Cusack. Featuring a revamped script, the long-in-the-works musical comedy begins performances February 17th at Chicago's Oriental Theater. And after that, we've got our fingers crossed the gals will be bringing those shoulder pads to Broadway.
Who volunteers as tribute? Suzanne Collins's The Hunger Games is heading to a purpose-built theatre next to London's Wembley Stadium. The Hunger Games theatrical experience will use innovative and immersive staging techniques and is set to begin performances in summer 2016. Perhaps Bettina Miller, who will soon appear in the highly anticipated The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 movie, will reprise her role. The odds have to be ever in the Tony winner's favour.
Hi, I'm Peter Gallagher and you're watching the Broadway.com show. Or you should be.
Our tweet of the week comes from former Broadway.com vlogger and royal funny lady, Lesli Margherita. The Matilda star tweets, "No joke. Lady just asked me if I knew where Bradley Cooper Elephant Show Theater is. Gave directions and said I hope she gets to see his trunk." The tweet speaks for itself, but I just want to add that if you're not following Margherita at Queen Leslie, why bother being on Twitter?
The delightful new production of On the Town shows 3 sailors and their lady friends singing, dancing, and romancing during a late-night New York City adventure. At the show's opening last month, I grilled the fun-loving cast about their most memorable New York all-nighter. Sit back and enjoy their boozy memories.
Maybe I was in a towel, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I just had a dance belt and a tube of chapstick.
After this milestone, it could be tonight.
I was an American Idiot. I didn't know what partying was until I did that show. I think there was a Friday night before I had 2 shows on a Saturday where I was out till 7 in the morning.
I don't know, a couple of years ago I had like a year, you know when you have that one year where you're like, I'm just gonna be reckless. I'm gonna just meet a bunch of people, I'm gonna date everyone, I'm gonna drink, I don't care.
I think that it might have been my bachelorette party. We were out at a drag bar. It was like a Mexican restaurant, but the waiters were drag queens.
Clubbing, just like literally doing what we do in the show, from club to club to club to club.
Well, probably doing crack and thinking I had a heart attack.
This week, Broadway finally said Willkommen to Emma Stone as Cabaret's newest Sally Bowles. Stone's been wanting to play the Kit Kat Club singer since she was 10 years old, and seeing how many amazing actresses have taken on the iconic role in the past, including Liza Minnelli, Judi Dench, Natasha Richardson, and most recently Michelle Williams, we don't blame her. Besides making her main STEM debut, Stone also stars in the new film Birdman, which is garnering a solid amount of Oscar buzz. Emma, we think you're perfectly marvelous, and that's why you're our star of the week.
Thumbs up to Hugh Jackman, who's delivering a bloody good performance in The River on Broadway. Literally. The Tony winner accidentally gashed his finger while gutting a fish on stage and was visibly bleeding throughout the course of one recent performance. But this is not an isolated incident. Jackman also sliced his finger in rehearsal and had to get 5 stitches. Bravo for powering through, Hugh, but be careful, okay?
Thumbs down to the news that Cafe Edison is closing. The coffee shop, lovingly known as the Polish Tea Room, has been a central hangout for theater types for 34 years. August Wilson reportedly scribbled 3 of his plays on napkins there, and Neil Simon even wrote a show about the place called 45 Seconds from Broadway. There are petitions and protests afoot to save the theater district institution, and we unite with these diner demonstrators with liberty and blintzes for all.
Hi, I'm Bill Pullman, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
For this week's Broadway.com Culturalist Challenge, we asked readers to create their top 10 lists of the most must-see performances currently playing on Broadway. Broadway.com site producer Joanne Villani kicked off the conversation, choosing Cabaret icon Alan Cumming as her top pick, while I put Ramin Karimlou's Jean Valjean and Les Mis in the lead. And here's how you voted. Michael C. Hall in Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Jefferson Mays in A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, Billy Porter in Kinky Boots, Lena Hall in Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Norm Lewis in The Phantom of the Opera, Jesse Mueller in Beautiful, Alan Cumming in Cabaret, James Monroe Iglehart in Aladdin, Ramin Karimlou in Les Miserables, Adina Menzel in If Then. Thanks for voting. Visit the site for this week's Broadway.com Culturalist Challenge featuring everyone's favorite would-be congressman, Clay Aiken.
Being a teenager is tough, but the gifted and good-looking stars of Simon Stevenson's punk rock make teen angst look downright trendy in this week's Hot Shot. Broadway.com's Caitlin McNaney rounded up the show's young cast, which includes screen star Douglas Smith and Broadway vet Annie Funk, and brought them to Washington Square Park for a sharp and moody photo shoot. Directed by Trip Coleman, the new MCC Theatre production about a group of troubled students in England officially opens on November 17th at the Lucille Lortel Theatre. Don't miss it.
Smackdown time! Last week we asked you which Oscar nominee you were more excited to see back on the Great White Way, The River's Hugh Jackman or The Elephant Man's Bradley Cooper. Well, the results are in and 62% of you said Hugh, 38% Bradley. Now to Vader Tots, we have a very serious question for you. Aaron Tveit will soon make his London stage debut in Assassins, and from this rehearsal shot it would appear that the stage and screen star has grown a beard for his role as John Wilkes Booth. So we want to know, do you prefer Tveit with a beard or smoothly shaven? Tweet your vote of beard or no beard to @BroadwayCon with the hashtag B'way Smackdown, and tune in next time for the winner.
That's it for this week's episode of the Broadway.com show. But before you go, check out this exclusive video of Tony Danza, Rob McClure, and the cast of Honeymoon in Vegas in the recording studio. See you guys next week.
Well, everything's right on track. It was touch and go, but you got the magic back.
Keep your hands steady, keep your head clear. Thank the Lord above, you got a straight flush.